Welcome to Tifosi time and a third iteration of our logo. The only reason I show up to this show at this point. Whoever designed this, I like it. My name's Frank.
This
is Chris.
The same as last week or no?
I don't think so. Did we have that opening last week? I just totally missed it.
It's different.
The producer yells in my ear that it is totally different, so I'm not totally nuts. But anyway, nicely produced. I like it. I'll actually meet one. So welcome back, guys. This is your quickly coming your favorite Serie A Juventus podcast on YouTube. You may just not know it yet. So welcome aboard. My name is Frank.
It's not even my favorite.
I said quickly becoming. Relax.
I'm a little upset. I thought we were going to be live tonight. I was all amped and juiced, and we're not. Producer.
This may be a dumb question, but what is actually the difference between being live and recording it like this?
People can harass us live.
Ooh, that sounds fun. We should do that. I'm voting for live then.
Next week.
Very good. All right, guys, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So this was there was a lot. There was the midweek debacle by Juventus to Barcelona. There was the games all weekend. Where would you guys like to start?
Juventus, of course.
Do you want to start with the win or the loss?
The win. I don't care about the loss.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Let's talk a little Juventus Spezia then.
Whoa, this is fancy.
And you got the score wrong.
No, I didn't. Yeah, it's 4-1.
It's 4-1.
Whoops, I forgot Ronaldo scored 2. Sorry, that should be a 4.
So okay, I got a question because this has happened now 5 times. I love the graphics.
Nobody proofreads it, all right? It takes me forever to make them. Nobody proofreads it.
How do you put the 4 goals down? You have the 4 goals, but then you just add incorrectly.
Because there's 3 spots. There's only 3 balls I see. 3 balls. So I'm not going to start with that, but there's only 3 balls, so I only.
You don't have to brag.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, it was 4-1 for those of you guys that did not watch the game. Ronaldo did score twice. So, that's the first test of the podcast. And for those of you guys that got the score correct, you can keep watching. All right. So, go ahead. Start us off. The guy who made the graphic gets to start us off.
No, I don't want to. I'm demoralized after that. Incorrect. As much as our producer Dom does not like Ronaldo, how much of a difference does this guy make on our team? Right? Comes in 2 goals. Dybala played I don't even know. That was bad, dude.
I don't think he played that bad, Dybala. I really don't. I think it was his best game out of the last 3 he's played. I think he's coming into form slowly.
That says something then.
Well, he's coming into form, right? But yeah, to your point, I mean, as much as we're not the biggest Ronaldo fanboys, we've learned to respect him more on Juventus. But the guy scores. Okay, 1 was a penalty, so whatever. You don't count that.
Dude, it's not even just scoring. He yells at everyone. At the corner kicks, he's telling everyone to mark up. He's he's a leader.
Okay, well that part I do get into. I think it also ties back to why they got their asses kicked on midweek, is because they are definitely missing some fire on the field for sure. Without Ronaldo, and then without Buffon, with Chiellini, I think Ronaldo is kind of supplying that for a lot of this squad, and that I will give you, because everybody else seems to be they're the polite players on the field sometimes. It's like, where's some of that fire? We're going to just take the game by the horns. I don't know.
Yeah. Some other quick points that I thought McKennie was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him. All over the place, he was creative, had an assist. I want to see him play every game. I really do. I love him.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was great. And Morata, man, he was awesome assist, knows how to score. He's just got to stay on side, right? But yeah, he's been great.
Well, I think at one point I texted you guys, I was like, is that 5 goals in a row that he's put in the net and it's been offsides the way the whistle's been called? So
I think it's 6. It's 6, actually.
Was it 6? I mean, that's pretty good. He might as well just keep going at this point. But, but by far the best person in midfield was definitely McKennie. So shout out to the American. Go USA, love it. Listen, a guy who actually is running back and forth, right? He doesn't give up on the ball. I think the second best midfielder right now in terms of form and actually trying to impose their will. The midfield is Rabiot right now. So if I was Pirlo, it would be McKennie and Rabiot would play all the time. Because the other guys, I mean, Bentancur, Arthur, yeah, they may have a little bit more skill than the other guys at times, but they got to get more involved and they got to impose their will a little bit more. So McKennie, definitely good game. I think Pirlo recognized that.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought Chiesa was non-existent.
Yeah, I didn't get the subs, right? Because I think remind me, I remember texting you guys going, what the hell's with these subs? So was the first sub out McKennie?
The subs all happened because they have the games in the middle of the week, and they had a decent lead, and they wanted to save them. I'm thinking he wants to play McKennie this week, so he took him out after 60 minutes. He's coming out. He's coming back from COVID. Ronaldo's coming back from COVID. He didn't start. There's too many games for them to keep playing 90 minutes. So I think that was more of it, because you were texting in the game with these subs. I don't understand them. Yeah, it's understandable. You took out the best player in the game. Why would you make that decision? Yeah, Chiesa didn't play good. In the first half, he was terrible. Second half, he did a little bit more, but he still turns the ball over way too much for me. He just tries to do too much and just gives it away stupidly sometimes. I enjoyed the interchanging play and the quick passing up top between Morata and a few players. Quick, simple, short passes that just works so quickly and just one touch. You don't see that a lot from Juventus. So that was nice to see.
Morata.
McKennie was the best player in the field.
Yeah, Morata's definitely in form for sure, right? I mean, he's been finishing everything. He's been getting his hands on around the 18. He's been taking people for pace, passing the ball off to teammates. He's definitely he's in form. He's playing well. McKennie, again, the fact is, I love the fact that he knows what it is, right? So this is why I always slammed when he was on Juventus, because he came on at 8 years old, this guy with this, great athleticism, this tall guy, whatever. And, every year, every game that passed by, he wanted to act like he was Zinedine Zidane. And he didn't want to put in the work rate on the field, where McKennie, he's come in, he'll tell you what he is. He's a worker. He's not going to give up. He's going to fight for every ball, right? And he has no problem being the warrior in the middle of the midfield, and we need more of those. We straight up need more of them. So yeah, I hope McKennie plays a bunch of games like that in a run and takes his spot, because the team works a lot better when you got some people like that in the midfield.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a particularly challenging game. It was 1-1 at one point, but then once Ronaldo came in, it really changed.
Did you guys see Dybala's face on the bench? Man,
I can't help feeling bad for Dybala, because I think the guy also has bad luck, right? So if you saw the way Dybala was playing, he was actually coming back way deeper to try to connect the midfield and the forwards. And a few times, he was trying to actually make a couple passes, come back and deep.
Yeah.
He was.
That's what you saw, though. You saw him, McKennie, Morata all playing well together, all doing those passes and linking up with each other. I don't think Ronaldo played as bad as other people said he did. It just looked really bad for him that he gets subbed out.
Ronaldo or Dybala?
Sorry, Dybala. I don't think he played bad, but it just looks bad for him that he gets subbed out and they score.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So I think in reality, he didn't play that bad. I think he was one of the few people on the field playing pretty decent. Morata, him, McKennie, I think they were playing okay, right? It wasn't vintage Dybala, but I think he was starting to come alive a little bit. And I think that's why you saw his face, right? Because in his face, he's probably saying, what the hell? I'm moving. I'm coming back, getting the ball, starting some of this action, right? Trying to be dangerous. And I think every time that happens and Ronaldo comes and scores, he must think, what the hell? A little bit of self-doubt maybe creeps in, or he must just laugh to himself. But I still think long-term Juventus with Dybala is going to be more successful than without. I just hope he sticks around to see that and he doesn't end up on a different team, right? So
Yeah, and we'll see. They're talking about contracts, but none's happening. So
Yeah, I mean, so you guys want to tie it back to? Do you want to say anything else about this game? Well, I'm trying to think of what the other subs. I feel like Ramsey came in. Who did Ramsey come in for?
Yeah, Ramsey was kind of irrelevant. Didn't really do much.
He was interchangeable for both that came in, and Kulusevski came in, right?
Did Kulusevski come in? I don't even remember.
I might be confusing the Barcelona game, dude. I don't know. It's a blur to me. My brain is mush.
Yeah, I will say though. Rabiot definitely seems like something clicked with him at the end of last year and this year. I mean, he seems physically in good shape. He's winning the balls, making tackles, right? He's pressing and being like convincing on the press and winning the ball back. So if he can, I mean, we're going to need a couple of those guys to have a good full season.
I think that was his first goal ever for Juventus, right?
Yeah, and he almost missed it.
Yeah, I think it was his first goal. Well, he's not a goal scorer.
I was expecting him to pass it, but he went on his own. There's not much to say about that game. Nothing more to say about that game.
Just happy they won, right? You need those 3 points. They won.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. So as bad as they've played, and we'll go to the standings later. I mean, as bad as they played, all of a sudden the other teams have faltered, and where they are, top 3 or 4. I don't even know exactly.
They're in top 4 and they're in the Champions League right now. And they haven't played good,
which isn't good enough for them. But it's good. Yeah.
No, when you're Juventus, if you're not first, it's not good enough. But to the point though, it's like letting the good teams stick around to hit their form, right? That's going to be a problem for other teams. So, but I do think the team itself as a whole right now is still missing something. Like it's still missing that fire.
You have to remember, like they don't have Alexandro, which I don't know what the deal is with him. Like he's been out. I didn't think he was going to be out this long. They don't have the lid. They still have missing pieces. So
yeah. No, they do. The problem is I don't know. It's not
but their defense has been shaky. Like you know.
So you know what I really, this is a little random, but you know what I really like? The link up between Cuadrado and Morata. He's always looking for him. And they have a connection, man. And I like the play between those two a lot.
Well, Cuadrado really has, he's solidified his role, right? I mean, he's probably one of the more consistent from game to game, like in terms of what they want him to do on both ends now, on the defense and going up there and making some crosses. So, at least you know what you're going to get at Cuadrado. He's not going to break the game for you. Usually he's not going to be that dangerous, but he's gonna create a few plays. He's gonna track back. He's gonna do the work. Who would ever thought Cuadrado was our most consistent, wing back that we have, right? But that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
All
right, you want to move on to the next game? You'll have a lot to say about this, I'm sure.
Inter. This was the game. So if you guys, so some of you or anyone that watched, you might have caught. We did our original shorts on the channel, which you're going to see coming out from time to time. We figured it's a good way to put out some instant, quick feedback on games because I have a really bad memory, and by the time we get to these Monday shows, I don't even remember what I watched. But Inter, man, it's like predictable. Like I don't even bet. Because first of all, I can't figure out how to use the app. But if I did, this would have been one I would have betted on, and it was awesome. And by the way, they were lucky to salvage a point here. I know they had chances on goal, but man, I was so close to just celebrating. They were down 2-0, and it was great. I just enjoyed it because it's Inter being Inter. I don't even have to break it down.
So I don't know. I was watching the game and they were doing a lot, but not doing anything. If that makes sense.
Well, they missed Lukaku. That's exactly what it was. They lost. If Lukaku was in that same game, maybe they would have scored 4 or 5. It's like almost like the same effect as like Abramovich or like Ronaldo have. Like for them, he makes a big difference. But still, you're playing Parma, who has not been playing well. Like, you want to be you're just Inter.
That's bad. That's a bad time.
Yeah, it's just
Dan's boy Vernocchio playing in defense center D.
Yeah, man. They finally put him in defense. No longer a striker. That's how desperate they are at defense right now with no Skriniar, no Bastoni, and all that. But still going with the back three because he refuses to change anything. But Inter dominated that game. They dominated it.
That's what I'm saying. They did a lot, but not a lot. You know what I mean?
If you check any of Parm's games, that's exactly how Parm plays. They let you have the ball, they pack it in, and then they hit you on the counter. Every single game, that's how they play. That's how they played all last year. And then Kulusevski there on the break helping out Gervinho. This year, it's just Gervinho, really, and he's finally put in a couple of goals. And his goal, that one goal is beautiful. The pass from Hernani over the top, and he just one-timed it.
Yeah.
Upper right corner. Handanovic didn't have a chance on it, but
Gervinho's he's a good player, right?
I mean, Inter wanted. There were rumors Inter wanted Gervinho this year that they were going to buy him, but they didn't.
Yeah, but here's the deal. What you just said is a mouthful, right? Because you know how they play. They play straight up counterattack, right? They have limited weapons. Like literally, you're talking like one guy, and yet you're able to get cut out and get. You can't even position yourself. I mean, to not allow the one dangerous guy to get two like great chances on goal, and next thing you know, you're down 2-0.
So the funny part about it was, I'm making fun of Ranocchio, I'm making fun of Kolarov, who actually played a decent offensive game, but De Vrij was the reason both those goals went in. So he, the best defender in the league last year, he won the award for best defender in the league, and he was at fault for both those goals.
He got cut out by that second goal, like the pass right by him. Gervinho ran right by him, and it was just like you can't have multiple layers of your defense cut out with one vertical pass like that. I mean, yeah, sometimes you tip your hat, but where that came out of the midfield, and he had enough space to be able to see the forward and where the ball was coming from. It should have been a lot closer. There should have been a tackle coming in on the ball than not just like a breakaway.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, Inter had the least amount of goals given up last year, and they're like Swiss cheese this year. Handanovic isn't making any crazy saves, but they're just letting, the opportunities the other team gets, they're scoring. And my big gripe with the game is Lautaro Martinez. I mean, I poke fun at him more than you guys. I don't think he's a good player. Not that I don't think he's a good player, but he's not nearly where people think he's at. And they're talking about quadrupling his salary and all that. Get rid of him. He is not a player that you can revolve your team around. You get your money and get rid of him. Lukaku is your star. He's not good. He's actually really good with his head. Better than I thought he would be. Like, he's got a decent header, but he sucks. I do not like him at all. I don't know.
No, he doesn't suck, but he doesn't suck, but he's streaky, right? He's the guy who can score you 6 goals in 4 games, and then he'll disappear for 10 games.
He disappears I haven't seen him ever play a good game. He always disappears. He's never put 90 minutes together.
I mean, you don't know. He can have stuff going on. He thought he was going to Barcelona. He might mentally not be there right now,
No, I don't want to make a – listen, you're on the field. You gotta perform. But I also think, look, he wasn't the only problem there. I mean, the problem was
he's been awful this year.
I think Inter plays a little bit with that hubris of like, we're Inter. We're so great. Eventually we're going to win. And the next thing you know, they're 2-0 now. They do fight back, right, which is a little bit of that Conte DNA. Like, they do fight back. But, a couple times already this year, I feel like they've rescued points in the last few minutes of the game. So their results could be their standings could be worse than it already is. I think what was the other game where I feel like they were down by 1 and ended up scoring 2 in the last like 5 minutes and winning early on.
Yeah,
Fiorentina.
It's happened multiple times this season.
Fiorentina, remember? Like, so again, like those are things that you either have to correct or eventually you're going to give up goals and not be able to come back, right? So in big games versus good teams, so. Yeah, listen, I mean, I was happy.
You're talking about Martinez being bad. I think Eriksen was one of the worst signings. I mean, he's been terrible since he's
Well, they haven't really played him, though.
I know.
I mean, again, that's a perfect example. Good. Didn't Conte want him, and then he doesn't play?
Conte playing friggin' Perisic up top. Like, he's not a striker. Like, I don't understand what he does.
Well, that I agreed with. Perisic is not a number 9. He's not a striker. Playing back to goal, like – I was like, what?
He refuses to switch his formation, and that's where he's putting him. He has no – It's dumb. It's dumb coaching.
Inter is so fun to hate. Like, there's so many things you can just pick out of them. Like, what are you doing? I don't get them. They should be better than they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they have a good. I mean, listen, they have 2 full teams at this point, right? So, the best thing I like is that, like, if you don't perform this year and you don't get where you need to go, like, there's no blame except you as the coach. You can't say you don't have enough players. You can't say they didn't get you who you wanted, right? They got players that they probably wouldn't have bought because you wanted them. So,
100%. He threw a stink over the summer. He was going to leave, and they gave him everything he wanted. Darmian,
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? Darmian, get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, so it's a good thing he's not a general manager of a team because you'd have a whole team of 42-year-olds that were no good.
Yeah.
All right, what else you guys got on this game?
My screen's frozen on Chris, so I can't see that. So you guys take this.
I don't know. You want to move on to the next game? Napoli?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Napoli Sassuolo. This is probably. I mean, this is the upset of the week, right?
Just for the record, I did call Sassuolo's winning.
Yes, I'm very proud of you. Good job. But if you look at Sassuolo, okay, their team, they don't have their 3 men up top. They don't have Caputo. They don't have Berardi. They don't have Juricic. All 3 guys who've been playing fantastic, not available for the game. They start a lineup with Raspadori, my guy, okay, drew the penalty. He didn't play particularly well, but he did start up top, which was nice to see. Makeshift up top. Boga's getting back into it. Traore came in, who's had a subpar season, hasn't played that well. But their midfield, Locatelli, Maxime Lopez, were fantastic. Maxime Lopez, the quickness he played with the ball, the one-touch, quick passes, the movement, he played fantastic. And I think they caught Napoli way off guard. I mean, Sassuolo, for Sassuolo's defense to let up 0 goals, they haven't done that in forever, and they shut down Napoli. If Dom puts the graphic back up, we can see. I mean, Napoli, they did have a lot of shots, but possession, Sassuolo, took the possession. It was really, for me, it was surprising because of how well Napoli's been playing.
So here's the thing, like, remember you guys are making fun of me because I was saying, like, Napoli's got to prove that they can do it, and Gattuso's teams, right? And to me, 2 things stuck out. A, big statement game by Sassuolo in the sense of, like, them believing that they could possibly have a good year all the way to the end, right? Because they were probably 2 of the hotter teams coming in, and to play them head to head with missing 3 of your main guys, that's a big statement game, right? Yeah, they had the penalty. Maybe, we played 5 times. It probably flip a coin. It goes, either way. But, that's big for Sassuolo. So I was happy for them. And then 2, what do you guys think? I mean, this is exactly what I was saying about teams not named Juventus without having that winning DNA, because this is, again, Juventus is playing like crap, right? Dropping points everywhere. And all these teams that are on all cylinders, like, oh, look how great Napoli is. And then all of a sudden you go play Sassuolo and look, you get shut out.
And this is Napoli at full strength, besides Insigne, who's hurt. I mean, they pretty much played everybody, and it was impressive to see Sassuolo defensively. Consigliere, he played amazing.
Yeah, he had a great game.
Stopped a bunch of balls.
He also had a bad giveaway at one that he had.
He did, but I mean, he recovered on it. But he made a lot of saves. Osimhen, I wasn't really impressed with Osimhen. I mean, you're impressed with him physically and just his ability, but you got to start hitting the net. Like, you got to. Like, he reminds me a lot of Kwame, who's always in the right spot, who always does the right thing, and then can't finish. If Kwame could finish, he would have 25 goals a season. This is where Osimhen's, I mean, he's a little better finisher than Kwame, but he's kind of reminding me a little bit of him like that. He really is good. He's got to start putting the ball in the back of the net. But I don't know.
So you're talking about Lopez, quick touches. He played awesome.
He played amazing.
The whole team plays like that, dude. Watch them every week. It's just the mentality that they have. I'm telling you right now, man, they play Juventus the way they're playing. They're beating Juventus. I'm telling you right now, they're a good team. Their coaches.
They took points from Juventus
right now.
Yeah, they took points from Juventus last year.
I'm just saying, they're fun to watch, and they have players.
Well, they got a deep team too. Like,
can they challenge? Might they challenge Atalanta as darlings this year?
So that's the thing. Even in the game, the announcer said, "Is this the new Atalanta? Have they taken the formula?"
Oh, I missed that. Really?
I said, "Well, let's calm down a little bit. I don't think they're the next Atalanta. They're not going to be able to do that."
So don't get me wrong. Their defense is complete crap. It's not good at all.
Like Atalanta.
Yeah. So but they have talent. They're coached well. They play a beautiful game. It's fun to watch them play. Yeah. So I kind of get it. But right now they're playing really well, man. Second place. We'll show the standings later, but
listen, this is going to be a crazy year, right? This is going to be a year with COVID and games in the middle of the, people playing 5 games in freaking 10 days or whatever it is. This is a year where a team like this that can just concentrate on Serie A and, they have to keep people healthy and, what have you. I'm not saying they're going to win it. I'm not saying they're even going to come in the Champions League, but they could definitely entertain and take points from teams all year round, all year. Why not? Right?
Yeah. Dude, when you're in these tournaments, it's very tough to manage. They play so many games. And when, Sassuolo only has to concentrate on the league and then maybe a couple of Italian Cup games, it makes a big difference. They missed 3 of their best players and shut out Napoli.
Well, that's to me is the most impressive, right? Is to lose your three of your best players, the guys you count on, and and just come up and say, okay, and really what it was is you were missing your offensive players. It's the defense stepped up, right? So, that's good. That's a good early sign of a team that can win some games, right? So, throw me on the Sassuolo bandwagon. Why not? Listen. Another team to come ahead of Inter, I'm happy. Let's run it down.
When we were doing predictions at the beginning, I said they had a chance at top 6. So it's I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Right. What else you guys want to add here?
I think Di Lorenzo had a poor game on the Napoli side. We haven't talked much about them. Politano didn't do much. Chuck Lozano was pretty absent. Bakayoko played good. I mean, he's really solidified himself in the midfield for that team. I don't see him, not starting many of those games. I mean, if you look at it, Lobotka and Deme, 2 guys they got in January last year, haven't really touched the field a lot this year, and it's because of him. He's a quality player. But no, Napoli. I think they caught Napoli by surprise, and I'm happy for Sassuolo. I want them to keep it up.
Yeah. All right. What's the next game?
Good.
Yeah. So Torino Lazio, the next one. This game was crazy. I don't know if you guys saw it or the highlights at least, because it was this on the same time as Juventus.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I did not get to watch this.
Yeah, all of us were watching the Juventus game because we're Juventus fans. Torino had the lead super late in this game. Lukic for Torino, he got the ball. Well, Patrick on Lazio had the ball in his own box. Lukic runs up to him, just bodies him, just tosses him to the ground, steals the ball, dribbles, scores. They take the lead. The announcer's like, "Oh, they grabbed the lead. They're gonna win. They're gonna steal it. 3 minutes left." Lazio go back. They get a penalty shot, which was a little controversial. It was a handball off a shot, which I saw it many times, and I couldn't even. My eyes are bad. Maybe I couldn't see which hand it hit off, but it was a handball. They called it. Immobile scored, and that was 5 minutes in extra time, and then they added even more time because of all that review, all that other play, and Caicedo gets a ball in the 6-yard box. Beats the goalie through ball. I thought Sirigu had a terrible game. Milinkovic-Savic, the free kick he scored on the right side of the box, he curves all the way to the left side of the net. Sirigu is running to the right. He's not covering the side he's supposed to be covering. He goes to the
What was he doing?
I have no idea. He thought he was going to curl it near post. He just goes far post, and Sirigu just totally just avoids his side that he's supposed to cover. And you don't see that from Sirigu.
Sirigu's a very good goalie. I guess they caught him cheating big time, huh?
Yeah, it was a poor game by him. Torino's other goals, Belotti had a penalty shot, which I thought also was a kind of a weak foul that they gave, but he scored his, and Bremer scored on a corner kick. But it was just a crazy game to have 3 goals in the last 13 minutes or whatever. When you think Torino's going to get their first win of the season, because they have 1 point right now. And after the game, if you see, There's rumors right now Gianpaolo's job is going to be contingent on their next game. If they don't get 3 points, he's pretty much going to get fired.
Who they're playing? Do you know who they're playing?
I think Crotone, but I'm not 100% sure. But they're not happy in Torino because that's a game they should have had.
Who would they bring in? Is there any talk of who they would bring in if they fired Gianpaolo?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. But if they get relegated, like they're talking contract, they want to do contract with like Belotti. Like, why would he resign? Get out of here! Like he's going to leave.
I don't think they're getting relegated. I just think they got to turn it around. You see this in Italy. Italy more than other countries. They're so quick to fire coaches.
Oh yeah.
You know, he hasn't gotten a fair shot in his last 2 jobs. He's gotten fired so quickly. So
the only thing to add to this game was I saw the highlights like you, but the Pereira goal was a nice little combo play. It was nice, nice little build up and a nice little finish. Sergio Malika the Savage crossed it to him, right? I think. He crossed it to Patrick, and Patrick dropped it off to Pereira, and he's a loanee from Man City or Man United. Man United. So he got his first goal for them. It was just a nice build up, a nice play. I like that.
Yeah, but I was shocked at Saragu on that one free kick. Like, what are you doing? He's better than that. Like, he's smarter than that. He makes spectacular saves, and then he lets that go in.
No, Saragu's a very good goalie. Yeah, I mean, anyone can have a bad day, I guess, right? But yeah, that's surprising.
I'm mad I didn't watch this game.
It's a huge win for Lazio. I mean, like I said, they were doing decent in the Champions League, but as far as the league, they really weren't doing well. But they're stringing some wins together. It's good for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and look, I think this is what we're seeing too. Is we're seeing the effects of a really short, condensed off season. Right, with like a crazy, they came back for like this sprint at the end of last year. They have like a shortened off season, and they start the season. So it's almost like the NFL, right, with no preseason games. I think we're seeing a lot of these teams struggle and starting to string some wins together because they're starting to get play a little bit better, getting a little bit more form. It's got to have some role. You would think it's got to have something to say with what's going on.
I mean, it definitely is because even the lineups, like I know Mobley didn't even start. Like Mariki started and Correa started, and then both of them came out because like you just can't keep having these guys play so much. And I don't know. We'll see. Well, they got another game this midweek, and then I don't know who they play next week.
They play Juventus next week, don't they?
Do they really?
Yeah, I think. Well, Lazio, not Torino.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Lazio. Okay.
Yeah, they play. I think they play Juventus at like 6:30 in the morning or something.
Awesome.
Great.
I could be wrong.
Let's go to the results of all the other games, and we'll just quickly break down the other games. Crotone Atalanta, that was the first game on Saturday. 2-1, pretty straightforward. Muriel with 2 goals. The one thing I wanted to ask you guys, and it's going to be kind of a stupid question, but not a stupid question, but who's a better forward, Muriel or Zapata for them?
Zapata.
Yeah,
I mean
they're different. They're different.
Muriel. I do, Dan. I think he's awesome.
I know you've been. I don't know. He puts it away. He doesn't even play a lot, and he just keeps scoring. Like, start him up top with Zapata.
Zapata does so much of that hard work for a full game that Muriel's not going to get you. Muriel's good. When he was back under the Nays, he was good, right? Like,
I love him.
But I think Zapata takes a beating. He puts pressure on the team. He holds the ball up, allows them to advance, right? He's playing when people are fresh. So I think Zapata, they're both good, though. I mean, for a team like Atalanta to have both of those guys,
dude,
that's actually
nice problem to have, man.
I would just like, I don't know. I would like to see them starting together more.
I think they could play together. Yeah, they could play together more.
You can play Muriel more on the wing too.
I wonder if there's something about Muriel in terms of his physical, like what? Because I mean, Gasparini has definitely relegated him to like the super sub role, right? 30 minutes a game. So,
but he like thrives in it. He's awesome.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. But why, right? Like he some guys just do well, but is it one of those guys that if he plays 90 minutes, 3 games in a row, all of a sudden he loses kind of that punch a little bit? It could be.
Yeah,
you have to consider they have a game this week too, right? So they're mixing it up.
Yeah, but the Atalanta snapped their 2-game losing streak, which is good for them. They needed that after 2 really poor performances in the league. Inter Parma we talked about. Bologna, Cagliari 3-2. Cagliari had a lead. Bologna 3 goals, 2 of them by Musa Barrow. The goals were absolutely beautiful.
They were awesome, dude.
But that was a fun game. Like I said, there's so many games in the league that's like you're a neutral and you don't care about them, but like you put them on and they're really, I mean, they're fun to watch.
I mean, look at the score. Look at the scores. I mean, the results. Like, if this was, I want to say, 15 years ago,
all nothing.
You know how many 0-0s and 1-0s you would have there?
Yep.
Now you don't have any.
Yeah.
Bologna's got some players, and I always root for them for their coach. I like that team.
Yeah, I mean Mihailovic. It's hard to root against Mihailovic, but give them credit. They came back and they won. Big win for them. That's what you need to win. You need to win those mid-table games to stay up, and they did. Milan, Udinese, Ibrahimovic. I said it last week or 2 weeks ago. Most valuable player in the league to his team. I still agree with that. Goal and an assist. His assist to Kessie was beautiful.
Yes.
And then
it was a good finish too.
It was a good finish, but I mean, just he has the vision, he has the strength. He's such a good player, and his goal it was a bicycle kick, but it was a weak bicycle kick.
Yeah,
but,
it was a weak.
It went in, and but that's part of his intimidation factor. Like the goalie's like coming up, he's like, oh, I don't know if I want to go up to that. And then
like he jumped up like a girl. Like, what is he doing? I shouldn't even say that. I'm like, go get the ball.
Yeah. So they were a little weak on defense over there. But 2-1, they keep the streak going. They're unbeaten in I don't know how many games dating back from last year, like over 25 or something like that.
For sure, Abramovich makes a huge difference for Milan. You take him off of there, and I think they end up 12th in the table.
Exactly. That's why he's the most. That's why he's the most valuable player, because you take him off there, and they are fighting for 11th place.
Yeah.
And they got Rebic back, which is nice, and he had a few plays that were nice. Romagnoli gave up another penalty shot. Again, I'm one of the haters of Romagnoli. It was a terrible defensive play, just so late on it and nowhere near the ball.
So let me ask you, who would you rather have, him or Bonucci? That's easy for me.
Ooh.
Romagnoli, because he's younger and he doesn't cost as much.
I don't care if Romagnoli's older than him. I hate Bonucci.
At least Romagnoli you could take off the field, no problem.
No, he's the captain, right? Isn't he the captain of Milan? You can't really even take him off the field.
Donnarumma, right?
Yeah. But another poor play by him, and I'm just not surprised. I don't like him as defender. But Kessie was nice.
He's been great.
He played well again too. What do we got? Juventus, we already said. Lazio, Torino, we already said. Rome, Fiorentina, 2-0. Spinazzola. Oh my! Did you see the highlights of this game, Frank?
I did not. Tell me what my boy did.
Mirante, I think it was Mirante in net, or Lopez. I don't know who was playing goal, but he just cleared it really long and went over the forward and defender's head. Spinazzola runs onto it, has a breakaway, scores near post. Just like there's not many left backs in the league that are good, and you got rid of the one of the few that are good.
Listen, don't bring back my mem. I wanted Spinazzola while he was on Atalanta. I cried, get him. Just bring him in. They bring him in, and then
Spinazzola corner over here.
I am the Spinazzola corner for sure. If he's got Caputo's corner. I'm Spinazzola's corner. It doesn't roll off the tongue as quick, but
I figured I'd mention him because you're such a fanboy that he scored.
Yeah, but now you opened up the wound, right? So like I'm gonna go there again. Like how much better would Juventus be if we had Spinazzola trolling up and down the left side? We would just be better.
I can't argue that. Like I said, there's not many good fullbacks in the league, and he's a good one. And you got rid of him for another good fullback who you refused to keep on your team. That's my issue. If you kept Pellegrini on the team, I'd be fine with it. But
that's what you guys try to sell me on, right? When they got rid of him, like, oh, they needed the cash and they got Pellegrini, right? Like, we'll be okay. And then Pellegrini's gone too.
They just don't keep him. I don't understand.
They got a lot of money for Spinazzola, and they got Pellegrini, but then you just get rid of him. I'm sorry, that doesn't make sense.
Anyway, did Fiorentina's coach get fired yet, or what? Because this I can't.
He said, "I'm not firing anyone until the coaches underneath me get fired," like in the standings. So, I mean, Gianpaolo's about to get fired. So,
That's so dumb.
He doesn't have much time left there. It's not looking good for him. Dragowski made some nice saves in
He's
that
a good
game.
player.
Yeah, but Fiorentina, they're not playing well. Roma, it was a good win for Rome. We talked about Sassuolo, Napoli, Genoa, Samp. This is the derby.
The derby.
Samp pretty much controlled the game. They scored first. Genoa got one back. Samp in the second half had more chances. I do want to point out, though, Genoa had an Italian Cup game midweek. Scamacca from the loanee from Sassuolo, and talk about their depth. And Sassuolo is doing things correctly. He scored 2 goals midweek. Then he scores the goal over here. Young kid, big, tall, strong, good with his feet. It might be another player for Sassuolo. It's another striker, another forward that they have just in the pipeline.
Yeah, I agree. But I saw highlights of this game. I think Yanto, what's his name, from Samp? That was a very nice goal. Nice finish.
Yeah, Yakta. Yeah, he scored, I think, 2 weeks in a row. He's played well. Jallo, he played again, and as seeing another left back who can actually cross the ball and is not intimidated to shoot is nice to see. Him playing, getting a little bit of time, and he's got some potential. But 1-1, for a 1-1 game, it was very entertaining. Odero made some saves. Perin made some saves. But Samp probably deserved the win. 1-1, I guess.
Yeah. Ex-Juventus goalies, both of them, right?
Yeah. And the last game was today, Hellas Verona, Benevento, 3-1 win. Hellas Verona just keeps on going.
Yeah, your boy Barak.
Yeah, so Barak, when he was on Udinese, it was Barak and Ballack, I believe. And I don't know what league Ballack plays in anymore, but Barak and him played together, and young, have tons of potential. Barak's been floating around now to a few teams, scores 2 goals. His second goal was so nice, outside of the left foot, opposite post, unstoppable. You couldn't save it. But he's been a guy who's had so much potential and he's never panned out. 3-1. Benevento got a red card in this game, so after that happened, it was kind of over. Hellas Verona, like we said, I think they're in 7th place now. Like they're right outside the Europe.
Yeah, we'll pop up the standings now.
Yeah.
Look at that. Graphics plenty on the Tifosi Time podcast.
See, now I don't know if these numbers are even correct because I can't even count the balls on the screen.
We don't come with. Please provide your own fact checkers.
Yeah, so it's not the whole table, but just to show it up, 6 games into the season. Milan in first place still. 1 tie, the rest wins. Keep on trucking, +9. So Sassuolo is the surprise of the season so far, we can say. Juventus back in 3rd.
So I want to say 3 out of our 4 top 4 are in there right now. Who's not in? Inter.
Yes, barely getting the Europa League spot. But on the other side over there, you have the relegations, and I think I pick Udinese at all. Udinese and Crotone to go down. That's looking good. But Torino's got to start putting some points up.
It's early. It's fun to look at, but it's early.
Yeah. It's really early. I think Torino's gonna have to scrape its way out of there for sure. Start putting some points on the board. But I mean it's fun to look at if nothing else, right? And just to rag on a couple teams.
Yeah.
So we have not even talked about the midweek Juventus Barcelona game though.
Yes.
I know we want to erase that from our memory.
So here, I'll just say something really quick on that because like I said, this is the one game, one of 6 games in a group, and you can't really put that much stock into one game when there's 5 other ones they got to play. You would think Juventus versus Barcelona, you're getting a great game, you're getting 2 great teams. You're not getting that. Barcelona is not good right now. Juventus is not good right now. Juventus doesn't have Ronaldo. They didn't play particularly well. Barcelona did not impress me. If you saw any analysis after the game, everyone was saying Barcelona's best team of the season. They played so well. they play like crap. They're not good. But yeah, they
listen, but that's my problem, right? Like going into the game, Barcelona was playing bad. It's not the top Barcelona that we're used to.
Yeah, but so is Juventus. They're not playing well.
Yeah,
But
but
they
you know
were.
what? I mean, so where was that was probably one of the most uninspiring games I've ever seen Juventus play in terms of just desire to claw their way back and fight back. It was like they were just limp the entire time. I was like, are you guys even awake? Like what's so that I have a problem with because yeah, you didn't have Ronaldo, but you can't be dependent on Ronaldo to, if Ronaldo was on the field, he would have been yelling at every freaking player on that field to wake the hell up.
Well, and if Morata knew the offsides rule, he would have had a hat trick. That's the kind of game it was. Like both teams could have won. I don't think Barcelona dominated them. I don't think Barcelona played good, and I don't think Juventus played good.
They didn't dominate them, but what it did expose to me is the lack of industrious players we have in the midfield when McKennie's not in the field, in terms of the guys that are willing to win the ball. Because our midfield was non-existent in that game. They really were. And I have a problem when I look over and they pan over and the most annoyed person on the field is Buffon sitting in the fan. He looked the most annoyed out of all of them. Like where was someone grabbing people by the neck going, wake the hell up. You're in the black and white here. You're not playing for your old team. Like there was.
You also don't get that same feel for it when there's zero fans in the crowd.
That's true too.
Whatever. Like I said, it's one of 6 games that they have. They win their other games versus Dynamo Kiev and they're in cross game. I don't even know how to say the teams. They win those games.
No, I'm not even worried about that. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, like, the first 5 minutes. So another rant here. Here's the Frankie Bags rant of the week. So I was stuck working, so I couldn't watch this thing live. So I set up my DVR on my phone, and it worked, by the way, which never happens. And I'm like, right around, I don't know. I'm old, man. I don't know how to. I'm just an old dude. I don't know how to do anything. So I'm literally like, yes, all right. I'm gonna finish up work. I'm gonna grab something to eat, and then I'm gonna watch the game. Literally, I leave my desk and I take my phone up, and Bleacher Report kind of goes 2-0 Barcelona. I'm like, oh, F you. I'm like, now I know the score and I have to watch this thing. So that was, I hate technology. That's my anti-technology rant of the day.
Your flip phone did that for you? Did ruin the game for your flip phone?
My sidekick did that. It was kind of crazy. I didn't even know it did that.
I don't know. To be honest, I can't even remember the game all that much from last week. It wasn't memorable other than Morata missing, 3 offsides. It just pissed me off.
So that's what I was gonna say though. I know that they were legit offsides, but some of them are just so. Like back in the day, you have to think before VAR. Some of them might have been considered even. Like,
Go ahead.
No, I'm going to go off a tangent here. Was that this weekend? What were the announcers talking about with the offsides this weekend? Do they not know the rules? What the hell?
So what game was that? Because you just reminded me. I wanted to talk about that.
They were talking. They didn't know the difference between somebody who is not directly in play and who's in play and all that. They were just being stupid.
It was embarrassing. I'm like, this has been a rule for how long?
Well, no, but I think they actually had a legit thing. So obviously they know if you're passive now, you're not offside, right? But Morata's run put him offside. The ball wasn't to him; it was to McKennie, and then McKennie passed the ball backward or even to Morata, who scored. Fine.
So who cares?
But the point is, his original offside run, where he's considered passive in the new rule, gave him a 10-yard start on the defense that allowed him to get the ball.
So I agree with you. But by him taking that 10-yard run offsides, he's effectively taking himself out of the play to begin with.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Because now he's not an option. You can't give it to him right away.
Yeah, but he continued the run. He just continued the run. And then I think the reason they brought it back was because there was a goal that was scored. Was it that game or where it was basically the same game where basically I think it was a corner kick header maybe where the guy saved it or something or a cross where the guy headed it and then the rebound went to the guy that was offside and they called it off.
Right? Yeah, and okay. Said, what's the difference?
How is that different? Again, cross to another guy, he heads it to a guy who's standing off sides. Now the rebound goes to him and he puts it in. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The ball went in. So why? Because it touched the defender first? If anything, it touched our goalie. So he shouldn't have been offsides. Like the passive rule, the reason I don't like it is because when we played, when it was straight up last man, what in essence it does is it takes away the offsides, right? Because you can't move the defense up in a line going, okay, we got 3 guys off. If the ball doesn't go there, those guys are ahead of you.
I agree with you, but this rule's been like this for how long? Why are they arguing?
I don't know. I don't know why they didn't understand it the way they did, but it did bring up some rage in me because I think it does suck.
Sorry, I just spaced out for a little bit because I can't stand talking about offsides. I think VAR does a good job. People give it crap. I think it does a good job, and it gets most of the calls right.
Think back to when we played, right?
No,
right?
I am thinking about it. I know if Inzaghi played right now, he would be cut because he could never play with VAR. Like, I know Inzaghi, like he lived on offsides. So if he played right now, he would never be able to.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking the forwards. I'm thinking the defenses of the teams. Like there were some great teams that played an awesome offside trap, right? And that allows you to close the other teams down, move forward. It's an extra defender, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like you don't get any of that because you're like, oh yeah, that guy was offside, but it went to the other guy first, and then the other 3 guys are 50 yards off of that.
But my thing with VAR and like replays and stuff, the whole thing was like to eliminate the egregious plays, right? Like this armpit offside, like a toe forward, like come on, just play the game.
I agree. I think if it's that close, we're watching in slow motion, like in stop motion, and it's basically like, is that an armpit that's half off? Then I think you go to the original call. If it was called on sides in the field, you leave it. Because this is just stupid now. Because they can just let anything play, knowing, oh, we're just going to call it back and erase it anyway. So I don't. But the pass offside thing, I'm just thinking like collectively as a team, where I was a big proponent of playing the offsides to shrink the field, put pressure on people, have an extra defender. Now it's like you have to second think it because that goal that Morata scored is a perfect example.
I get it. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying that's the rule.
Like to me, if you're passive, if you're not in the play, then you should not interfere with the play all the way through to its completion. Like if it's a goal, like you shouldn't be able to come in and be like, "Now I'm here." That's like basically sitting out of bounds next to the goal, and then like having them play a through ball to somebody who's on sides, and then poking your head back out on the side of the goalie and be like, "I'm here," and like, okay, now you're in play because I'm even with the ball.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. When we next week's games or
no? Let's do the player of the week quickly. All right. So Chris, go ahead. Who do you have over here?
Musa Barra. I mean, I talked about it in my little short or whatever. 2 beautiful goals. They take the lead on the second one. He had a great game, so it was an easy call for me.
So things I'll point out just about Atalanta. I mean, he was an Atalanta young player who they sold. Recca, the fullback, who I'm even forgetting what team he plays on, and I watch him every week. But he's another young player from Atalanta who has an option to buy at the end of the season. They have Kulusevski they got rid of.
Goalie, right? Goalie.
Well, he's a loanee. I mean, he can go back. The point I'm making is like they're getting rid of a lot of good young players. I know they, financially it's making sense, but how deep can their system be that they can just give up on these guys?
I agree with that. I'm curious, right? It's like we joke around and be like, oh, it's just going to be the next guy up. But is it really? I mean, do they really produce 30, 40 decent young guys with other teams like Juventus can't make one?
They're getting really talented players. They're getting rid of young guys, and it's I don't know.
From what I understand, their youth teams are always at the top of like every table. So
I understand that, but these guys are legit players in the league right now. Who right now Retza, he can play in fullback for them as a sub and be better than who they have. Mojinka and DePauli, all them. Like I would play that kid over them.
Well, that's one of the things I will say, right? Because I think if you have good scouting, you can always replace other people that you see before others. So that's probably what they're doing. But I will say there is a point where it starts to bite you in the ass. And in fact, you just remind me one of the things I want to say during the Atalanta game is, I think Gasperini is struggling a little bit trying to manage. Obviously, we talked about the more games in a short amount of time. And one of the guys I think he's missing the most is Castagna, because last year when Gosens couldn't play or where they needed to like sub Gosens out or put Castagna in, they didn't really drop all that much. Like they dropped a little from Gosens, but now I think, it's to Dan's point. It's like you can't necessarily lose guys that could contribute to your team when you have a certain expectation. And, you're playing someone a little bit worse. It's one thing if you're covered and you have better people, but when you're selling people that where you're kind of like struggling then to like find someone that's as good of a fit, like that's when you start to like, it's okay that they're all good and young, but it's like, are they ready to contribute at that level? That's
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I know they got to get rid of them. You can't have 30 people on your roster who are ready to play right now. So, yeah, you get rid of them. You just hope that they're not getting rid of the wrong people. And Musa Barrow, the end of last season, the second half of the year, was fantastic. He scored tons of goals, like the goals he scored today or this weekend, and he's a player. And the Rekka kid, the Retza, he is very good on the wing, very active, up and down.
Are they loans though, or do they sell them?
Well, he's the kid, the fullback is a loan with an option to buy, and depending on where they finish, I think they're going to buy him. But I don't know. It's just an interesting note. But go ahead, Chris. Sorry to
no. I'm just thought. Yeah, I said it already. Two great goals. They get the win.
Yes. What is it? 6 shots, 4 shots on goal. He had very active. Helped them get the comeback win. Nice to see him do well. Frank, what about you? This was not a surprise. You texted us right away.
Yeah, for me, I went Gervinho with his 2 goals against Inter just because he took points away from Inter. So that's my boy this week.
They were also beautiful goals.
They were beautiful goals. Look, he's a skill player way back to when he was on Rome, right? I mean, he's a good player, and the thing is too, like, there's some certain players where the knock on them is like, oh, you put them on a bigger team, they're not going to make the difference, right? Gervinho is probably one of those guys. You put him on the top teams in the world, he can probably hold his own, but he's not going to make a difference. But there's something to be said too to play on a team where the entire team basically counts on you. And still to actually show up, especially in a big game when you're playing a bigger team. And, another forward could have just easily missed both those chances, right? Especially the first one, which was beautiful, right? It was almost a half chance that he took beautifully. So, props to my boy Gervinho. Thank you for taking points from Inter. Sorry, Uncle Roy.
I'll say 2 quick things on that. Gervinho, like Uncle Roy's watching.
No, he doesn't.
But 2 things on Gervinho. Number 1, Parma is the perfect team for him. Just the style they play, counterattack football. He's going to get his 2 chances. He's going to put him in. So he's found the right fit for them. The other thing, which will make you laugh, Frank, is I don't know if you saw my little short, but I talked to our father before or after the game, and he said that he was on the phone with Uncle Santo before the Inter game, and he told him, he's like, watch out for Gervinho today. He's going to score. He's going to, they're good. And that, I mean, he always picks against Inter, but he was so happy. He called me after the game, and he was so happy. He's like, you see Gervinho? So I told Uncle Santo before the game that he was going to mess him up. And
I think he was pissed because I think he thought you guys were going to bet on him to score or something, and I was like, I don't think you guys did, right? You didn't. You didn't.
No, I mean.
But yeah, he was pretty excited about that. I mean, but your point is valid, right? About Gervinho, like the style of play, the counterattacking suits him perfect, and that's another thing. Like if you put him on a team like Juventus or someone that attacked the full time, like he wouldn't be able to use that space in counterattack, and he probably wouldn't be as even when he played on Rome, I think at the time they played with like a false 9, and there was a lot of like empty space that he was running into. So, but yeah, props to him for taking two chances and making the most out of them for sure.
Yeah. All right, and I'll just go to mine. I mentioned it before, the Sassuolo game. First of all, Sassuolo winning 2-0. I think someone on their team deserves the status of a player of the week from us. Caputo wasn't there, so it couldn't go to him. Maxi Lopez, I mean, he looks like a 12-year-old on the field. It's fantastic. And he was just innocent signing by them, like the one signing they made all transfer, window. And the way he played, I want to see him every week lined up right next to Locatelli. I think they're a good combo. He just played so quick. I'm not even talking about the goal, just the entire game, moving the ball. Just before he even got the ball, he knew where he was going with it. He was so quick with the ball, and he played fantastic. So that's why I gave it to him for the week.
I love that.
I feel like
team.
we should have.
I love them.
We should have canceled this week's episode since we couldn't have a Caputo's corner.
Let's hope next week. Let's hope.
So let's pull up the Champions League schedule, just so we can go over it, just so people can know. And then Chris, while he's doing that, why don't you pull up the schedule for next week? Because I didn't make one for that.
Look at these games.
So the big thing about Inter tied another game, right, in their Champions League, and now they have 2 points, and Real Madrid's not doing well in the group either. So this game right here is huge. Like, whoever loses this game is in a real danger of not making it out of this group. And Real Madrid has one player who has COVID. I can't remember who it is, but Lukaku's out for, I believe, a month starting from Saturday. I think he's got like an adductor problem. So no Lukaku for Inter. Real Madrid's not Real Madrid anymore, but they're in desperation mode too, kind of. So it's a big game for Inter. And
are there fans allowed in Spain?
I don't know.
There's fans anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I mean, look, this is the type of game where you can see Inter's players kind of step up and pull out a tie or even a win here because Real Madrid's playing so bad. But it's definitely not an easy game on their calendar for sure. Either goes for Atalanta with playing Liverpool. So yeah.
Liverpool's got some injuries too. They're not playing out of this world like they were last year, the last couple of years. But that's a tough game. That game should be in theory like 5-4 by the end of it. It's just two teams that are going to go at it, and that'll be really fun to watch. So that's tomorrow at 3. Both those games are at the same time. I'm probably going to put it on the Atalanta game, to be honest. I want to watch that game more than the Inter game.
I can see myself doing that too.
Yeah.
What channels are they on? Can I rant my old man not knowing where to find them?
CBS All Access. You'll be lucky. Real Madrid Inter will probably be on the Spanish channel if you want to watch that one. But the other game,
ESPN.
Lazio versus Zenit. I mean, I don't know anything about Zenit, so I can't really give you feedback on that.
Zenit always, Zenit always is tricky. They're not even when they're in Juventus's group, they're always, especially away when there's fans, right? So, but they're not an easy win for sure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Lazio is still missing players. They don't have Luis Alberto. They're missing some players still, but they're doing well in the Champions League, so hopefully they can continue.
And I know nothing about the team that Juventus is playing.
Bro, I don't even know how to say that name.
No, Frickin' Vasos. Frickin' Vascos.
I don't know what league. I don't know what league they're in. I don't know who they are. I can't name you one player. Juventus better win this game. Is all I gotta say.
Francois Sakas.
Yeah,
not be offensive. I'm gonna share this screen here.
Ferenc Vatakas.
Yeah, you're getting it. I think you nailed it right there. Actually,
I'm just adding random letters that aren't there.
So there's a game Wednesday.
Yes, this is the makeup game from the COVID game where Genoa had to cancel. So both these teams have 5 games only. Everybody else has 6 games. So and that's partly why Torino also has only 1 point. But this is a big game for both these teams because they're both in the bottom 6.
So what game do we want to pick here?
So let's scroll through them, and we'll each pick one like we always do. Dom, do you have the standings for our picks so far? Who's winning? Oh, wow, look at that game. Atalanta versus Inter. All right, so Frank has 8 points. I have 7 points, and Chris has 6 points. So Frank with the early lead. There's actually a few good games. So Frank, you pick first. Which game you want to go with first?
Why do I have to pick first?
Just pick a game.
All right, let me see here.
All right, I'll pick first because you're taking too long. Let's go with Inter versus Atalanta. All right. I am going to pick. Both these teams have midweek games. Inter has no Lukaku, therefore Lukaku means loss for Inter. So I'm going to go Atalanta 3-2 Atalanta.
I'll say 4-2 Atalanta.
I'm going to say 3-1 Atalanta.
Wow, so that means Inter's winning because everybody picked.
All right, Juventus versus Lazio. I'm going to pick that game. 2-1 Juventus.
Ooh, this is the 6:30 in the morning game, so get those alarms set. If you're on the West Coast, don't even go to bed 3:30 in the morning. This game starts.
Open up a beer and start watching.
Yeah, Frank, go ahead. You pick. What do you think?
What did Chris say?
2-1.
2-1 Juventus.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to say 3-2 Juventus.
All right, I'm going to pick. Lazio actually has been very good against Juventus the past couple of years, so I'm going to go 2-2 draw.
Okay. Frank, what game are you picking?
Let's see here.
Is this all the games, Chris? Are there any more?
Well, there's one Friday.
Okay.
So I just got to pick anything, huh? AC Milan, Hellas Verona. I'm going to say 2-2.
Well, you're on that Verona bandwagon. I see that.
I'm going to say 2-1 Milan.
I'm going to say 3-2 Hellas Verona.
Whoa.
Ooh, I like
Milan,
it.
they cannot win every game. They have to lose one eventually. And Hellas Verona is one of my favorite teams, and they play well against good teams. So that's my pick, 3-2. All right.
You're right.
I don't think there's anything else we haven't covered. I think we're good, right?
Check us out on the after show where Chris is going to juggle with his feet and hands 1,000 times while eating a jar of Nutella.
Me?
All right.
Hey, like, subscribe, ask questions, make fun of Frank, whatever you need to do. Let's go.
Please do.
We got some sexy time bots giving us some nice compliments. Let me tell you.
The sexy
One
time
said,
bot?
I think one said we love you long time or something like that. I don't know. We got some nice bot action going on in the comments.
Listen, everyone's got to start somewhere. We'll start with the sexy time bots. It's all good.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I would like a real human to interact with us.
Yeah. Give us your thoughts. Give us on predict. We'd love to hear what you guys think those 3 games we just picked. If you're still watching, throw your scores down below. Let's start keeping tally here. We have the producer behind the scenes that takes our scores down. So let's see how you guys do.
Yes, and let us know your players of the week because I'm interested to see. Like I said, when we pick our players of the week, we try not to go just based off of stats. We like to, actually see who played a solid game. I know you guys pick the guys who scored 2 goals, but
I basically pick anyone that steals points from Inter.
There you go. But let us know who your player of the week is.
Inter's defense, then you should have picked.
Yeah, Inter's defense. Colt and his entire style of coaching and running a team.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Adios.